Accounting and auditing profession's reputation is everything after allegations that it helped the Gupta family to engineer state capture and undermine the South African Revenue Service with a dodgy report. Audit firm KPMG promised transparency. It's now emerged that the lead auditor responsible for signing off embattled VBS Bank had loans with the financial institutions that has since gone into curatorship, the full extent of which he did not declare. It's been alleged. And it couldn't have come at a worse time for KPMG. Now to talk about the reputation and credibility management that needs to be done is independent expert Mr. Moeng. Soli, good evening to you and thank you for talking to us. How badly will this hurt KPMG?
Very badly. I think it's already in trouble. KPMG didn't go into trouble the first time with the Guptas. They are the company that audited the books for JCI when Brett Cable was still alive. When Brett Cable used JCI to steal billions in shares from another company, Randgold and Exploration, they never reported that something wrong was going on. And later on, when there was an investigation into what happened then, they are the company that was used to come and help with the forensic investigation. So they were involved in aiding this company, Brett Cable, steal. They were also involved in helping the Scorpios invest what happened, and they never reported that.
They're arguing that, they might argue, in fact, that the stories you're referring to perhaps were much bigger issues for them. But as far as they're concerned, in the bigger scheme of things, this was a relatively small audit, and they've taken action.
Look, the problem is the whole mixing up of auditing services and advisory services, and it impacts on all the companies in this field. KPMG has been unfortunately found wanting for not coming out with the truth earlier. I mean, it has been used in the state capture project to steal money from the people of South Africa, through SARS. They helped put together that report, and they still do not want that report to be made public. The international arm of KPMG has done this report. It's meant to be shown to us, the people of South Africa from whom money was stolen. KPMG South Africa says no. So they're basically saying to us, please trust us. The report is there, but we're not going to show it to you. But you have to trust that there's nothing in that report that you should be worried about. Now they're doing it again.
But as far as this one is concerned, they've taken action. The two individuals that were involved have been allowed to resign. They've come clean. They've declared it. And they've said, of course, that the financial statements of VBS Mutual are not to be trusted. They're also saying they're going to take the extra step of going back 18 months to ensure that all of the work in which these individuals were involved has been re-looked at.
I think KPMG needs to go back 3, 4, 5 years. No, the common denominator in all of this is KPMG. It's not the individual who get involved in the trouble. Each time this happens, they let people go without those people being made to tell us exactly what happened. I think that if there's a culture in the business to do this sort of thing and then let people go, I call it a strategic amputation. You get rid of this and you think the whole body will be sane again. But they keep doing it. So there's something wrong in the culture of KPMG that allows this sort of thing to happen. And when it does, people are let go of. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough. We need to know exactly what happened, but they need to tell us all of these things are linked. Is there a culture? Is there a problem with the combining of auditing services with advisory services? Is it not time to make sure church and state don't meet?
Might they say that, we're all making too much of a fuss over the actions of individuals who are acting in their own interest, that they too were duped because these individuals allegedly didn't declare their interests?
Look, KPMG has been in trouble before. They have to be very strict on this. And if they've let people go before, there's got to be something that happens to individuals in KPMG who do these things that will make sure that nobody else does it again. So it doesn't make sense that people are let go of, other people get involved in the same thing, wearing the same brand of KPMG. It means that the punishment, if there's any punishment that was meted out to the previous guys, was not strong enough to discourage others from doing it. And they keep doing it in the name of this company.
So what lessons are there to be learned for other corporates and indeed even maybe our politicians to learn and any public, officials or figures to learn from something like this?
Look, we live in an era of what some of us call an era of reputation. Reputation is more valuable than Bitcoin. If you lose it, it's going to be very, very hard to get a climb back. South Africa is struggling to climb back after state capture. KPMG keeps hiding. And you have to tell the truth. If you get involved in this sort of thing without coming out clearly to say, this is exactly what happened, this is what made it to happen, these are the measures that we're putting in place to make sure it never happens again, you're not going to regain the credibility that you lost.
I mean, you're a reputation expert, and perhaps I'll sneak in a naughty question in the sense that overall, what would your advice have been, say, for example, to the former Minister Mufamadi, who gave that lengthy press briefing? How does somebody who's been accused of specific things cleanse their reputation? Because, it takes a lifetime to build one, but a few seconds for it to be destroyed.
Well, if you get accused of specific things, you need to respond to the specific things. I like to give the example of Capitec Bank, when it was accused not too long ago of having used, I don't know, to remember there was a list of 10 charges. But what they did the next day, they came out and said, on charge 1, this is the story. On charge 2, so you have to be you can't tell a whole beautiful story that seems to camouflage the actual points on which
deal with the material questions that have been raised.
You have to come out clean. You see, with reputation, the earlier you tell the truth, the cheaper it becomes for you. You can think of Fort Cougar, for instance, when they lied that they had nothing to do with it for too long. By the time it came out, it hit them. You can think of MTN in Nigeria. They had 3 years during which to deal with certain things they didn't, and by the time it hit them in the face, it was too big. So the sooner you deal with a thing with the truth, reach out, open up, the easier it becomes.
It's often the attempts to cover up the initial story that hurt people rather than the original facts that came out. Thank you very much for your perspective there.